Whoa. Hey now, what happened to the other guys? Ah, alright, I see how it is. It's all good. No, I'm kidding. Well, the other homies are out there catching Pokemans and other activities. It's your boy, Okami Stitch, here back at it like a bad habit. Talking about Sakamoto Days, episode 7. Yes, sirritos. We had a interesting episode, I think. From the beginning, I've always said that character development is something that I quite cherish and is most of my leading interest when it comes to how group ensemble shows, i.e., team members or X amount of things, get together and how they have to figure out how to deal with each other's BS, bullshit, for those of us not identified. So, we were able to see a little bit more of a bit of history, also going forward and kind of setting up more plot points, which is always interesting, fun, and pretty damn skillful if you're writing stories and you know what's out there. So let's get into it. We're not gonna have any of those super intense copyrighted scenes, but for now, Netflix has released a second mid-season trailer. That is what we're watching down there in that corner. That is kind of important. Why? Because there is a bit more, shall we say, difference maybe in terms of how they're handling it, and we'll get more into that later, and or if it was a one-off. But that's going to be interesting to see how Netflix handles more of these releases. I think this is maybe the first-ish time that they're super serious about, like, no, this is 6 episodes, that's your half season, then you get another season, and then we'll talk about if we get a third season. But so far, so good. People are talking about it. I don't know how much more hype there is about it, but I would hope that by now, episode 7, you're kind of getting to the climactic hype point. Let's say whoever's hasn't known is getting into it or is getting ready to jump into it if they are interested. And with that, it is my job to get you all interested. So, ikuzo. We start off the episode with a little bit of a school day. Yes, that's true. When you have a child, sometimes they ask you to go to their school and talk and just observe how the teacher. I think it's called a parent conference day. It's been a long time from my end, but hey, those are fun. So we got Sakamoto and his wife Aoi, I think is what we called her. Hana might be the daughter. I might be mixing those up, vice versa. But we're out there being a family. So that means that we leave the other two family members, i.e., the older sibling and the younger sister, at the house home alone, i.e., working the shop. And normally that would be a okay, fun, normal thing. However, when you got a drunken Chinese master and you got a mind reading assassin, things tend to get a little heated. But mostly because they're pre-pubescent teenagers. I thought Shin was more of an adult, but he's definitely giving high schooler vibes, or the both of them are, I guess. But I think that's the charm. We're kind of seeing how these family dynamics are starting to kick in, even though they're just, they just met a couple days ago. But hey, man, if the shoe fits, So we're fighting, we're arguing, and what kind of gets them set off is that so you have Shin who's kind of trying to assert dominance, whatever that means, just being like, Lou, that's my apron. Also, I notice that you wear that apron every time you get 30. So can you fucking wear your own apron if you're gonna get 30? Which, hey, I get it. I can't. I'm with the homie on this one. I keep a clean ship on my boat. If you're gonna be chopping onions, you better believe you have a little bucket next to you so you can throw away your trash, or else you're just being disorganized. and we don't like that. So that being Shin's kind of shtick, Lu gets mad. Obviously, Lu being Lu, a very savage woman, not my words, other people's words. We'll get to that later. Thinks in her mind, damn it, Shin, he's such a child, or you can be such like a kid next sometimes, because yeah, they are kind of bickering. Like if it was, look, mom and dad put me in charge, so you're gonna listen to me, and Shin, obviously being the mind reader, hears that, and he's like, obviously just getting more salty. He's like, hey, if you're gonna say something, say it. But that is where the issue lies, because the whole point and the whole disappointment on Lu's part is that she's so anxious about Shin reading her mind, or like just constantly not having that privacy, and being anxious about, like, dude, this dude might just be not just listening in, but listening in to my personal opinions, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and that's not nice. So there is a bit of a dynamic there. Lu, being the responsible Oni-chan that he is, kind of picks up on that vibe, and he goes, I'm going out. Do whatever you want. I'm going out. So keeping that distance, trying to keep things stable within them. Lu starts feeling bad, kind of. She's still salty. She is a very tickable person, triggerable person. But as that's happening, we get we just get a quick little introduction to Heisuke. So his current objective slash role in this family establishment is to be the stray friend that just comes by to pick up man buns, because yes, he takes pork buns or steam buns off the floor, because that is more than okay in his book. So that's literally the only screen time he gets. That is his only lines in this whole episode. Keep in mind, this is a show of characters who will somehow, sometimes, maybe show up and have fun, so that you never really know. All right, so moving on. Lu, disappointed, blurts out her feelings. Shin, a little dejected, disappointed, takes a walk. As Lu is operating a store by herself, she does get attacked, indeed, by 4 astronauts. Is what I would say. But clearly, we know by now that there's some kind of assassin organization group, or there's some kind of X amount of people who are out there for the dinero and are trying to get in on that bounty. So, as it is, they're looking for Shin. However, because we have earlier established plot points that Lu was wearing Shin's apron, the 4 smartest astronauts in the universe pick up this poor girl and drag her along to their van. Yes, that actually happened. So now we have a pickle. It's concerned. So at that point, we have them abducting the poor girl. She's being tossed into the back seat so she can be abducted. But specifically remembering that they're looking for Shin. However, this is not Shin, this is Lu, as she says so herself with a kick to the face. Fortunately, she's still stuck. That being said, though, the guys kind of all bicker between them. 4 astronauts. We get the names of 2 of the astronauts, one of them being Tanaka, the other being Seba. And those 2 are the only ones that are like, yo, man, is not the right person. Tanaka being an asshole is like, just take him, just take him. We already did this. We're already working on it. Just take it. Well, Sebas is like, all right, well, it's a different gender, but we're gonna go with this. We don't have much of a choice. Okay, go on. Lu, feeling really bad about herself, confirms that she is indeed a tsundere. She is now disappointed and feels bad for bad mouthing Shin. She didn't mean it, Shin. Please be nice. However, that's right then and there. We have had Sakamoto and the family show up, wondering where the freak is Lu. And Shin I forgot how Shin realizes how where they went, but oh, okay. Shin's like, damn, she was just here a second ago, but there's broken glass. Where did they go? There's no way we can find them. And then Sakamoto goes like, I got you, fam. Whips out his GPS. Scary, I know. He's like, over there. Yes, indeed. Sakamoto has GPS on the family plan, boys. Yeah, he's got to keep his little gooselings, his ducks in order. And indeed he does, because we now flash back over to the highway as Lou is being abducted, but out of freaking nowhere, and I do mean out of nowhere, a Honda Rebel Cruiser flies from the upper bridge and lands on the highway that they're on. Yes, indeed, Sakamoto has come for reaction, and he knows how to drive a motorcycle. With Lou in the B seat, the one right behind him. Or I mean, if Shin and B seat right behind Sakamoto-kun, both of them tried their best to catch up to the abductee van and rescue Lin. However, little they didn't know, they got their own motorcycles, and yes, like a scene straight out of the Matrix, they send 4 motorcycles to go after Sakamoto. Sakamoto does his best to do his kung fu motorcycle John Wick. Yes, John Wick action. And he does a good job. However, there's too many people going too fast. So as Shin gets a bit of wood from a local woodsman, convinces the young man that he is filming a movie as he proceeds to chuck a piece of log into the motorcycle wheel and makes the guy wipe out off the motorcycle. Also, very reminiscent of John Wick. I think 3 when he uses that katana to do the same move. Taking notes. Happening, fights, and we get Shin on top of the van that is abducting the Lu. Yes, straight out of the Matrix. We get the passenger seater, the guy called Seba, or I guess technically he's the driver seat in Japan. He's like, hey man, take the wheel. Seba steps out of the car onto the roof of his vehicle, face to face with Shin. We get to square up, the boys square up. And out of nowhere, activates, flips a switch, disappears. Motherfucker has a freaking camo, what is it? Holographic camo or thermal camo or whatever you want to call it. Straight out of Metal Gear, straight out of Ghost in the Shell. That thing she uses to beat the crap out of the one guy. And yeah, this freaking disappears and does his little kung fu action. And I believe he blasts the poor kid off the roof of the car. Bind 0-1 Shin for today. Sakamoto is up, ready for reaction. But out from pure instinct, I believe. I guess you could feel someone landing on top of the motorcycle. It would be a heavy piece of weight, so you would feel that inertia. You can't tell, but I'm leaning forward. Inertia when someone lands on that front wheel. So from that, we can assume that he picked up on that, instinctively raises his right hand to defend, and indeed does block one of Invisible Man's attacks. Surprising Invisible Man going like, yo man, this guy's got some pretty good instincts. And then Sakamoto goes, not only instincts, baby. And I forgot what he does, but I think he gets a good one on him. Gets a little attack on Sakamoto and gets him to jump off, but not too bad. Oh, gets him to punch, but before he does, little guy goes for a shank, stabs Sakamoto's gas tank. Yes, indeed, rendering the poor motorcycle unoperational. And with that, invisible suit Ghost in the Shell man jumps back to his car, takes off. That's one for the bad guys. not before exploding Sakamoto's bike, which again, an explosion to your face, pretty dangerous. So this guy has a couple of durable skin, I guess. So with that, We try to get like a quick little second of like, yo, what's going on? What do we do? Where do we go from here? The GPS doesn't work anymore, says Sakamoto, astonished. And Shin, under his breath, barely whispers, they're from the lab. So we get a lab flashback of Shin, just a quick little glimpse. I can only assume that we're gonna get a full scene of the lab and his lab days later on. But for right now, we get an interesting little flashbacks, references to how Shin was originally from that place. So very reminiscent of Spy Family, if you ever seen the beginning of that, how Anya begins her journey. Slight spoilers. But yeah, getting into that one, we get in there, you get a good glance of the person who I've been kind of most curious about. He really gave off a different vibe from the other assassins, specifically because this homie is a fucking deer head on his head. And yes, we get a quick glimpse of the deer man. I call him Scarface because he lifts up his deer to reveal lots of scars, both on his face and on his fingers, meaning that you could reference him as Stitch Coon, but I would slightly get offended to that one, so let's not do that. We call him Scarface for now, please, thank you. And he is indeed the boss, or at least the boss for now. Flashing back to Sakamoto and Shin-kun, we see them trying to do their little unlockable legends, and very reminiscent of Resident Evil. Shin or telling Sakamoto-kun to rotate the bear head 90 degrees to the left. Very Resident Evil. And that triggers the opening and gets them the underground passageway door. The only thing left is a code. However, the current code that Shin is using, I forgot which word he used specifically, somebody's name, is no longer accepted. It's been a couple of changes, son. And with that, the bear, the big bear statue instinctively reacts, and with a gun, a cannon out of its mouth, it gets ready to blast Sakamoto and the boy. Sakamoto, being super fast, does my favorite move in the fight. Yes, it is. A knee to the fucking face because they never see it coming. Literally. And bam, smashes that fucking chin in. Good shit, you love to see it. However, they didn't account for the polar bear. Oh, he was a fucking polar bear. Right behind him, bear number 2 whips out his cannon and goes for it. And unable to get a good shot, Sakamoto goes in for the dash and takes care of that. Not too much of an issue for the man, you already know. But then we get the final stage. Final stage, ladies and gentlemen. Not a third bear, not a lion, not even a giraffe. Fucking dinosaur skeleton rises from the ground, and sure enough, you thought this was Resident Evil, but we're going full Monster Hunter, baby. So Sakamoto doing his near damnness to fight a freaking dinosaur. Shin asking him, "Hey man, do you ever fight any bears before?" And Sakamoto goes like, "Man, just a standard animal training," which I assume is dogs, maybe some kind of like bigger dog, a wolf, and I guess a bear. You could fight a bear, but you'd easily be overpowered. It's like it'd be like fighting against the Hulk. And if you haven't seen Captain America, Brave New World, I'm concerned about them too. Which makes sense, but I'm concerned about them too. So with that one, these guys, bear, dinosaur, goes gowl. Dinosaur goes gowl. Oh, I missed out the scene where he goes gowl gowl. Shin and Sakamoto take a cute little picture at the museum when they arrive. Shin's home is basically underneath a museum. The museum is there for purely there for cover. And then yeah, so the secret entrances that they are using to get in is it's guarded by bears and dinosaur. But as they enter in, they get stopped by the attendants of the museum, and they convince Shin and Sakamoto to take one of those little cute pictures. She goes, "Gao," that's kind of cute. And then Shin gets all excited because there's a picture of him and Sakamoto. He buys the picture. So flashing back forward, fighting against the dinosaur, Sakamoto goes, "Damn, what kind of souvenir do I get?" He thinks about it, and he thinks about how happy his daughter would be playing with the dinosaur. So the mission: capture the animal alive. So yes, this is some Monster Hunter shit. So we're going at it. He's like, how do we do this? How do we stop this guy without breaking it down? Shin goes like, I got it. Every time it opens its mouth, it has a little mechanical part in there. Use your stun gun and short circuit the machine. That'll make it stop. Sakamoto, very impressed, goes, that's a good idea, Shin. And Shin nearly loses it. No, he gets very happy. So we see a little bit of how Shin is really leaning on the mentor slash surrogate father dynamic when it comes to Sakamoto-kun and what his opinion means to Shin. So kind of a bit hypocritical from last episode where we have Shin telling the homie Heisuke that like, yo man, why are you gonna try to impress people? But technically, when you're talking about Sakamoto-kun, that's a different person. So technically, you're kind of happy if you impress that guy because he's impressed himself. So that's how that goes. So still getting into it, punching out and trying to go for it. However, this dinosaur is more than meets the eye, and yes, he does indeed get the upper hand, destroying the homies. He does a little tail whip, destroys Sakamoto's taser. A couple good dodges in by Sakamoto, but you already know if you've been playing Elden Ring, that shit's hard, Mar. You gotta keep it up. But yeah, a little defense with his gun, destroys his gun. Sakamoto disappointed, but he's a man of rational behavior. Says, ha, it's too much of a hassle. Sorry, little guy. And he punches the dinosaur straight in the fucking throat. It's a robot. It's a robot. But he punches it right into that black box or whatever mechanical part that was in there, making the poor dinosaur drop. That is another one for the boys. But yeah, making it stun out, thinks we're almost okay. Or is it dropped? No. Starts getting back up. And we go, oh man, what do we do? We do one last shot from the big guy. He goes, you know what? It's over. Told you it was over. And he does this interesting like acrobatic jump. We're again seeing more of this whimsical, fantastical elements, because obviously normally you wouldn't expect a 300 plus, maybe 400, 350-pound man to be able to jump 20 feet in the air. But you know, he's got talent, he's got skills. Sakamoto-kun, you didn't know? And he goes high, way up high. Can we get much higher? Yes, indeed, says Sakamoto. As when he drops back, when gravity kicks in, and as he's dropping down, he uses that leg drop kick to just cleanly, finally slice down the dinosaur's spine. Yes, indeed, that is a backbreaker, ladies and gentlemen, with the leg. So, with that out of the way, we smile in victory and go forward to the lab. Very cool. So that's probably the animation of the episode. That's where we get our best animation for today. We got a cool couple of clips of Sakamoto kind of like doing dodge rolls and freaking dashing back and forth. And yeah, I kind of liked it. For a cool split second, it felt like a Monster Hunter slash Horizon slash Elden Ring vibe. So that's something different, right? Something new that they're adding into it, and I'm all about it. Very nice to see where they go with that and how that ends up kind of like growing. Because if they can make a dinosaur be a enemy of the week, homie, homie, we got a couple things to talk about. So yeah, that's pretty fun. Looking forward to that. And flash over to the lab, but this time we're hanging out with the assassins. At least that's what we think they are, because we got a group of people who are goading the other guys, and we see how them you for 1 year as we meet up with the scientist, right? Shin and Sakamoto meet up with the scientists, talking to them, and be like, "Yo, man, what happened? Where's the old man?" Shin asks. The old man. For 1 year, an assassin took over the lab. They just kind of been harassing them, and they said that they want these assassins to be technology based. Hence, the camo suit Ghost in the Shell guy whose name was Seba that we saw earlier. So there you go. We got technologically advanced assassins. That is indeed terrifying. But it's been a year. They've been working on this. So we can put that on the timeline now that a year before this, I don't know how long, maybe 3 years in since Sakamoto left the mafia. But we've got people coming up left and right, enemies coming up left and right. So trying to keep a set timeline of who feels what and who got hurt when and how it's gonna play out in the future. But so far, Dear Man / Scarface is setting up for something big. So flashing over to our little Lu-chan, who's very disappointed. She indeed was able to meet the Dear Man himself. She was disappointed, or she was a little freaked out. She noticed all the scars on his fingers and stuff like that. And she's like, "Yo, man, this guy ain't right. This boy ain't right. Tell you what. And she is now imprisoned in a jail cell with, remember that guy from on the left driver's seat, passenger seat? Yeah, well, that guy's name was oh, it's on it. Wait, I told you. Oh, Tanaka. Tanaka being a little potato person, and for bringing the Dear Man, the wrong person, he too gets sent to prison. So that's how you know they don't mess around. Yep, indeed. Poor guy. Not poor guy, yelling his butt out and being like, I don't want to die. Let me know. Lou, super salty, wakes up and kicks him in the shin. Lots of kicks by Lou. A very aggressive woman indeed. He calls her savage. A savage woman. And like, how do I lay this one down? I've known these boys for a while, right? If the other kid goes like, "Oh man, I'm starting to like this girl," I'm just like, "Huh? I bet you." It's matching up, yeah. It's like, you know. So we got Lou being out there being mad about stuff. She is using a rock, literally, indeed being a savage woman because she gets a rock, and she's using a rock to chip away at the iron bars, which obviously won't work, but she's trying. She's trying. When she hears a voice behind her going, Ojo-chan, Ojo-chan. That's true. Asakura from behind, talking to her. And he's like, "Yo, man, you're gonna need some help. You wanna get out? Let's get out together." So, very nice. But then we flash back over to Shin and Sakamoto-kun as we see a new character walk in the room. Mad Hogorugu. I don't know, I didn't get his name. But I'm gonna call him Hojo from Final Fantasy VII. Mad the Hojo. Hojo 2 walks in, and he's like, he has needles injected into his shoulders, right? And he looks like a guy who doesn't have a lot of nutrition, but he's sucking on the blood bag as he's walking into the room. So you know he gets his levels up there somehow. Either way, bad vibes all around. Homeboy, essentially Elon Tesla bullshit. Is like, well, it's time to find out what's going on. Scared scientists who were talking to Shinchan because they apparently know Shinchan. Again, this is his home place. And when Shin asks where is the old man, they know exactly who they're referring to. The old director. Because this new mad Hojo guy basically usurped the lab and imprisoned the old lab director, which is the guy who was stuck in the cell with Lou. So if Lou can figure how to work together as a team, we're in the right track. But yeah, this guy basically bust out some Elon Tesla bullshit because as he's trying to figure out what's going on, he stabs the lab worker with his own pen into the hand because he was trying to hide the boys, shove them in the locker, and was trying to convince Hojo that there was nothing suspicious. However, Hojo, being actually a smart guy, goes, dog, there's 2 fucking bodies in front of outside the room. You're gonna tell me something's around here, right? So hence pen stab to the hand. Homeboy cries out in pain, and Shinchan steps the fuck up. And yeah. Lab guy goes like, yo man, why didn't you just hide? And Shin, thinking of this Amaterasu old director, the man who used to be his father, like a father to him, says, I don't know. It just felt like it. Didn't feel like hiding anymore. And now we get this face off. Interesting moveset. We get this guy going faster than the speed of light, fast enough to disappear from the frame and to get behind Shin. And he gives him a good little shank / injection in the back of Shin's neck. Here's where we get to the fun part, because I did mention his name, and he busts out some Elon Musk bullshit. Essentially, when he gets his own distance, he lifts up his sleeve and he flips a couple switches, which then gives electrical shock currents to Shin's brain and can alter his perception / output, whether it be vision or vocal output. And yeah, flips a couple switches, busts out some bullshit Elon Musk Neuralink bullshit, and essentially makes Shin say the opposite of what he was trying to say. Now, the Netflix English version or subtitles will try to convince you that he's saying words in reverse, but technically that is correct. But he's actually saying the opposite of what he is intending. If you listen to exactly to what the Japanese says, it is the opposite. It is opposite day for him now. And when all hope seems lost because he is now being controlled, he's now being mentally hacked, just like the link gear. What's it called? The fucking brain gear? No. Microlink? Brainlink. Neuralink. There you go. Now with the Neuralink installed and glitched out as fuck, there's no hope for him. It's over. Don't get hacked, guys. Don't be stupid. Don't allow yourselves to get hacked. Yes, or mind controlled, God forbid. Fuck. So yes. But then out of nowhere, going in for the kill, this Hojo guy, and then Sakamoto, who had earlier been wedged into a fucking locker room. Poor guy was unable to get unstuck. So it took him a little second, but he made it just in time as he punches Hojo in the face, knocks him back for a couple seconds, and Salka for the bunch. Yeah, he comes out, punches him in the face, calls it a day. That's 2 for 0. That's 2 for the boys. Right. stepping out, and it's like, all right, cool. That was a save. That was a nice save, Shin. You could have died, like real talk. So thank you, Sakamoto, for that save. Steps out and starts talking to Shin. Shin or Sakamoto essentially tells Shin, so this is your home. This is your home, isn't it? Shin goes, no. Yeah. Literally meaning yes. And he's like, all right, well, let's go visit your home. Or let's go, I don't know, protect, see, visit, see, let's go explore your home. And the boys step forward unto dawn. Episode ends. But not before we get a new ending song. So I don't know if this was a mid-scene switch up, which would be kind of cool. That would mean that Netflix has given Sony money to give Bondi, the opening theme song players, money to play a new song, to license a new song for either this episode or for the next few episodes. Again, going back to the beginning when I mentioned that this is the second half of the first season. If this is what Netflix is trying to do with these mid-curve seasons, then them adding another ending song, yes, kind of makes it a little bit more expensive, but I feel gives it more variety and helps differentiate the points of which this series kind of like switches over. Like it's a new arc. So I think it's cool. I honestly don't think it's gonna stick around. I think they're gonna go back to the original ending song. But if I am misproven and they keep this ending song and that is their plan for the second half of the first season, then that tells me a couple of things coming from Netflix. And they're not all terrible, right? You know, but I like music, so I enjoy songs. But we'll see what goes from there. We might have just gotten this ending because we finally have all the hunters, the elite squadron that have appeared on screen as of this point. Because at the very end of this episode, we get a quick glimpse of the final two assassins that show up to the field. I believe I didn't get the names. Oh, Sasragi is the female. Osaragi or something like that. Yeah, is the female. So then I didn't get the male's name, but you already know. Elite Squadron and Elite Squadron. And so, with that bit of information and that prospective to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 7 of Sakamoto Days. Interesting stuff. Again, maybe we're not getting all the kung fu magic action that the universe might have wanted, but we're getting interesting stories. And, you know, for me, it's always been the idea of how did we get here and where do we go from now, and like having purpose to go forward. So I quite enjoy having these characters reveal past traits of themselves or past moments or experiences if it does benefit the storyline. And for now, I think it still does. So I don't see why not. So, with all that being said, I hope you all have had an opportunity to check out this episode. And if you liked it, please let me know. Leave a like down there and let me know what your favorite part of this episode was. I personally like the Gao scene. The Gao Gao picture scene. I think because I called it, I was like, yeah, dinosaurs make that noise, right? Gao, like roar. I love you. Roar means I love you in dinosaur. So Gao means I love you in Japanese dinosaur. So Gao dayo. And with that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's been your boy, Okami-san Stitch. And I do assume that things will go back to normal. Again, it's a little bit different today. Thankfully, they left me in the room, so I was able to hang out in the room and record in the room. In the room. So with that being said, thanks for hanging out, and I hope to see you again next time. But until then, hasta la próxima. Stay Sakamoto, baby. Ja. Matane. Woo! Hey. Mm.